I think we alive. I think we alive. I think we alive. All right, let me just some time so this thing could this feed. All right, greetings, 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 greetings to all. How is everybody doing? Hold on for a second. Hold on for a second, fam. All right, greetings, greetings, greetings. All right, grand rising, grand rising, grand rising. How are we doing today? Oh man, I ain't got my phone, but I'm gonna assume everybody could hear me, all right? If we could get a little feedback on that, let me know if you guys could hear me. I'm gonna give you guys some Onyx Summer Rising, Grand Rising, Great Rising to you. It's a beautiful day. Man, I'm in a great mood as usual, man. I'm feeling great. I'm feeling absolutely wonderful. I'm gonna give you guys some time to get into the live feed for those of you who are not able to get on because I know it's a bit early. Then that's fine. You could always check the the replay, all right? Because it's gonna be up. Let me see if I could cover this right here because I ain't doing no free ads for nobody. So give me a second, all right? Let me see how am I gonna cover that up. Yes, I think I can. While I'm just doing that, like I said, I'll just give you guys some time to chime in, give some more people some time to get into the live feed. All right. As you can tell, I'm really relaxed, right? Yes, y'all can hear me. Shelton, BD or Beauty? BT. All right, cool. All right, beautiful, beautiful. First off, just want to say, like we always do, man. I don't have the revised version of again the Sophos prayer, at hand. But however, I am gonna give thanks to Mother God, and yes, I did say Mother God, and my spiritual parents, and give thanks to all my ancestors, all those who came before me, those who walk in light and truth, and for those who didn't walk in light and truth, I hope they get a chance to to kind of make up for that. All right, but there's a lot of work to be done, and that's why I'm continuously putting in this, doing these videos, and I'm doing a lot of work behind the scenes, though. Man, if only you guys knew. But at the end of the day, somebody got to do it, right? Somebody got to do it. And I wanted to touch on this subject of a bit, only because there needs to be clarification. All right, I know I've done a lot of videos talking about Moors and I have to put this in perspective. What I mean by that is I really don't want anybody to think that I'm bashing anybody or hating on anybody. No, that's not what it is. All right, but I do not believe, I do think that the truth needs to be told. The truth needs to be told, and everybody's always telling their version of the story, but there's always some type of biasness in that because there's always some type of hidden agenda. And for me, the only agenda that I have is to just tell the truth. You know what I'm saying? Oh, you're absolutely welcome, Onyx. You know what I mean? The only agenda I have is to tell the truth. That's it. Nothing else but the truth. You see, because only the truth will not set us free, but it will not just set us free. It will allow us to walk in freedom. Okay? Because it's one thing for the truth to set you free, but you could feel like you're free and still not be walking free. It's two complete different scenarios, all right? But I want to make sure that this is told, and I like to explain things so that a 2-year-old, literally, and not that I'm calling you guys incompetent, I'm not calling you that, by no means I'm calling you children, but I like to explain things so that a child, okay, could comprehend what I'm saying, because to me it's one of the best ways to bring the information to the people. All right, to tell it in its simplest terms. We're not going to use no big words. All right, this is not coming from no big set of research. Literally everything I'm going to talk to you about today, I've already spoken about it, but I'm just going to expound on that. I'm going to clarify some things, and I'm going to show you, because there seems to be a divide. Okay, American Aboriginals Moors. You have Moors saying, well, we are the original American Aboriginals. You know, we have been here and all that. Well, guess what? There is a little truth in all of that. Okay? There's a little truth in all of that. Peace, God. All right? But not the entire truth is being told. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to break this down for you in its simplest term, where you would be like, oh man, Chief, you know what? That makes sense. And that's all I'm here to do, is for it to make sense. All right. So let us just start from the beginning, if we will, right? If we will, let's start from the beginning. Okay, here we go. Yeah. Anybody, I mean, for a very long time, I've already debunked that life originated in Africa. I mean, that's a theory that has been debunked a million times, not just by me, but many people. Okay, so we're not even going to go there with that. So that's under the bridge. That's under the water. All right. Now, let us look at this from creation perspective. Let's take it all the way back. Okay. Now, personally, man has been on this planet for millions of years. Okay, millions of years. That has been scientifically proven, archaeologically proven, and it resonates with my spirit, my soul. Okay? The question remains, do you believe, okay, or do you think that the Creator, okay, the Great Mother, do you think that the Great Mother created man, okay, and woman, and just put them in one side of a big earth? Or do you think that the Mother God, she made her children and she put her children all over the earth? All right, think about it, right? Let's just say this is my home and I'm having children. Why would I take my children and put them in a little box in this home? Why would I do this when I could have them in the entire room or the entire building? Is the same concept. Why would Mother God create her children and just put them on one side of the earth? I'm talking about millions of children, okay, and have them figure their way out. No, it didn't happen that way. So that alone in itself doesn't even make sense. Okay, Mother God made her children and put her children in all four corners of the earth. If you think the earth got corners, I'm not here to debate that. All right, I'm just saying people were all over the face of the earth. That's number one. Now, just like, let us look at nature here for a second. Look at animals. All right, do you think a dog knows that it's a dog? And once again, brothers and sisters, family, people of the world, man, we're just going to look at this from strictly basic knowledge, basic common sense. All right, you don't have to be a scholar to get this, because the problem with all these people calling themselves scholars and doctors and all these PhDs and degrees they have, that don't impress me. What impressed me is common sense. Okay, does it make sense? Because everything that you were taught, you learned from somebody else who wrote a book. And then I have to go and question the state of mind and the era that book was written and the state of mind that that individual was in. Was that person racist? Okay, was that person biased? Did they have something against my people? Did they have more of a love for their people? You see, it's just so many things to put into perspective. Okay, and when we are calling all these different people, you know, our great teachers, and man, listen, all great teachers have flaws. All great teachers have flaws. That's why I tell nobody I ain't no great teacher. I'm a great student. Okay, just like a brother was saying on the channel. I think it's a brother that he posted. Look at the word teacher. T. What's T? T is to brew. Brew, right? They're giving you something to drink. You feel me? So you are drinking some type of tea, and it's confusing people. It's misleading people. So I don't care how many degrees you have or how many PhDs you have or what you call yourself, what type of doctor you, and I'm talking about everybody, okay? Because everybody's always talking about, oh, great teachers, Dr. Henry Clark and Ivan Sertimer and all those people, man, listen, I have a lot of respect for these people. Yes, they have studied. Yes, man, listen, if you have your PhDs, more power to you. But anytime there's an agenda, I don't care what kind of PhD you have, okay? Your PhD don't impress me because the agenda is real, all right? The agenda is real. And a lot of these people, even if they are well taught or well studied, okay, they are still teaching from a colonization perspective, all right? Because it's in their best interest to teach from that perspective. They're being funded to teach that way from the colonization society. Because the mere fact that anybody could tell you, I don't care how well you studied, that everybody came from one place on this big, beautiful earth, then to me, that means your mind is already colonized. Because only a colonized mind would subscribe to such foolery. You feel me? So these scholars, all these people with their PhDs, they don't impress me. Let us use the common sense that the Most High gave us. Let's just use that here for a second. Okay? So here we go. I just wanted to make sure I expound on that a little bit. Do you think a dog know that it's a dog? Do you think a cow know that it's a cow? Do you think that a horse know that it's a horse? I want anybody to challenge me on that. And I always say I don't debate. I don't debate. Okay? I don't, because the true etymology of debate means to beat someone. And I'm not going to beat my brothers and sisters. However, I will argue that point any single day. Because guess what? Go look at the etymology of debate and argue. To argue means to discuss until we come to a resolve. Hence, well, not hence, but, and on the contrary, the word debate means to beat. So I don't want to beat my brothers and sisters. I just want to build with y'all, okay? And let y'all see things, again, from a common man perspective. We don't need no big set of books for that. I'm just going to use what the Creator gave me. You see what Big Mama gave me? That's all I'm going to use. So that's what we're going to use. So if a horse don't know it's a horse, and I want anybody to challenge me on that, prove to me that a horse knows it's a horse. Prove to me. I want anybody to prove to me that a lion knows it's a lion. Man or men were the ones who gave these animals these names. These animals a lion don't go around talking about, oh, I'm a lion. No. A dog don't go around talking about, roof, roof, I'm a dog. No. It doesn't know that. People may say, well, Chief, where are you going with this? This is exactly where I'm going with this, okay? We have been on this earth for millions of years, okay? And we didn't call ourselves anything. All we knew was that we existed. Well, Chief, how can you prove that again? Let's go back to being a baby. Do you think a baby knows that it's a male or a female? No. Do you think a baby boy knows it's a baby boy before it becomes conscious of that? Do you think a baby girl knows she's a baby girl until she becomes conscious of that? No. All she knows is she came into existence. That's it. It's the same thing with man. Man came into existence and we were just living life. We didn't call ourselves man. Do you think a man knew he was a man before he was called a man? And again, we're talking about basic common sense, family. Basic common sense. Okay? Men didn't always talk or articulate themselves verbally. There was a time when we spoke to each other telepathically. Okay? So how did we articulate the word man when we spoke to each other through telepathy? So then the mere fact that Moors could go around talking about everybody's Moors, how do you come up with that? Unless somebody made that up. You see, I'm going to debunk all the BS. Even with American Indian, Aboriginal, all that stuff was given to us. All that stuff was given to us. So I'm going to start by saying this. I'm a son of Mother God. Okay? I'm a living son of Mother God. That's who I am. But I identify as an American Aboriginal, aka American Indian, aka Carib, aka Anyonwea, which is Cherokee. You feel me? just to put things in perspective. Now, I hope I'm making sense thus far, because we are going to go a little deeper in that. Okay, so all the labels that we have been called were labels that was given to us by man, different societies. Okay, and that was for reasons why, to separate people and to control people. All right, the biggest two objectives: to separate people, to control people. Hence, man was power driven, for power. Okay, for power. So if we have been on this planet for millions of years, and we have been all over, okay, there were times, like I said, we didn't even call ourselves anything. We just existed. We looked at nature and we lived within nature. So therefore, I could go back to a time where we didn't call ourselves anything. Now, once man started becoming a little more advanced, okay, and started becoming a little more territorial, all right, and realized, wow, man, there is a higher power that rules everything. Then they started trying to emulate or be that higher power. And then that's when man started to create organizations, okay, little clans, little families, little groups, and they started separating. So let us kill all the noise. And there's, oh, well, and you have people saying, well, the earth was one landmass. Okay, let's go with that. Yes, the earth was one landmass. I have no proof of that. That is just what people say. People, they gave us books, okay? They tell us that the earth was one landmass. I'm not going to dispute that. It may have been. It still is. It's just divided by some water. So let's go with that. The earth was one landmass. So let me ask everybody else. What was the earth called when it was one landmass? The most popular term that people use is called Pangaea. Pangaea, right? So I'm going to go with that. So how is that Moors are telling us that we are all Moors? And my brother T-God, he articulated it quite eloquently. He asked, well, Chief, if the earth was Pangaea at one time, why don't we call ourselves Pangaeans opposed to Moors? Because Pangaea came before being a Moor. I'll wait. See, I'm not here to play the games. I'm here to ask some serious, logical questions. Okay? And let people see exactly what's happening. This is a hijack. It's a takeover. All right? By, through piracy. That's what's happening. But like I said, I'm not going to allow that to happen on my watch. So I'm going to show you the relationship between American Aboriginals and Moors, because they're two different people. Okay? And I'm going to show y'all why we need to work together and not fight each other. But at the same time, we have to respect each other for who we are. That's what this is about. It's not about separation. Actually, it's about togetherness. But the truth has to be told. You feel me? It has to be told. Now, some people may argue, well, Moor is a spiritual thing. We all Moors in essence. Well, yeah, you could say that to yourself, but I'm going to say in essence, I'm a son of the, Mother God. That's it. That's it. Now, you would have to tell me that Mother God is a Moor. Well, did she say that? How do you know? When was the first time that word Moor became a word? When? Turtle Island, again, is a name that was given to the continent by man again. You see what I'm saying? Just like America was a name that was given by man again. So regardless of what name you want to ask where it came from man. Where did the name lion come from? It came from a man. Where did the name zebra come from? It came from a man. Okay, whether it may have been a colonizer or the people that were indigenous to that area, regardless of what they call it, they were still men and women. So the point is, regardless of what the name was, it was all given or called by a man or a woman. You feel me? So let us focus on the point that's being made here today. Okay? So if the entire world was one landmass and it was called Pangaea, then it's safe to say that we are all Pangaeans, right? Now, even before Pangaea, I'm certainly sure it was called something else. It was called Earth, right? So at the end of the day, what? We are Earthlings. I think that's a safe thing to say. That's a safe thing to say. If you don't want to put yourself in a box, we are Earthlings. And if you don't want to put yourself in a earthly box, then what? We are spiritual beings, okay, having a physical experience. And I'm going somewhere with this, family. I'm going somewhere with this because, you see, I am tired of certain groups trying to put all of us in a box for their personal agenda. And I know what the agenda is, okay? And that's what I'm going to talk about here today and show you why we need to work together opposed to working separately, okay? But not everybody's always going to work together. That's just the way it is, all right? So let us break down this whole concept of people being on the planet, all right? There was a time, and which I've shown in videos, that other people on different continents or different side of the world, they had never heard about us. They didn't even know we exist, okay? They didn't even know we exist because at some point, the American continent wasn't even on the world map because these people didn't know about us, okay? They didn't know about us, okay? And yes, it has been told that the Moors are the descendants of Moab, the Moabites. Well, the Moabites are a descendant of Lot. They all came from Sodom and Gomorrah. That's their people. Those are not my people. Okay? Those are not my people. I did not descend from a city where men were sleeping with men. You feel me? So I'm just going to keep it 100 and let you know what it is. That is a bloodline. That is a bloodline of people, just like how you have different bloodlines. We all didn't come from the same bloodline, family. We all didn't come from the same bloodline. You did. So let us go back to the point where the world map was only, and I've shown this before, so I'm not going to beat the dead horse with that, okay? Where there was only Europe on the world map, based on what they knew at that time the world was. There was only Europe, there was only Asia, and there was only Libya. Africa wasn't even mentioned when it came when they were talking about that continent. At that time, the only part in Africa that was called Africa was Tunisia, which I've said that before, Tunisia. All right. Now, the Moors is a bloodline of a family that are very power hungry. Okay, that are very power hungry. They are pirates, and they are known for going around there, even in where they're from, Africa. Okay, the African continent, fighting their old brothers. That's what they are known for. So they went to Rome. Remember, Rome, all that's part of Africa. Don't let nobody fool you. Rome is part of Africa, part of Libya. Okay, that's when the whole continent of Africa was called Libya. You feel me? They were ruling Rome. Their father, okay, was ruling Rome, and he identified as a M-O-O-R and an M-U-U-R, Moorish, okay? They were ruling the Roman Empire, and they wanted to rule the entire world. Once again, they are very power hungry. But they lost their they lost their power in Rome. When the Roman Empire fell, they had to move on, like they always did. They had to move on. They moved into Spain. Okay, we're going to put this in perspective. They moved into Spain because I'm going to tell you who the Moors are in America today. All right? I'm going to tell you who they are. Because at that point, nobody had known, okay? We were not even on the world map. Yes, there may have been a few individuals who traveled and ended up on the American continent. But globally, we were not known. We were still a secret to the world. We were still a big secret to the world. And when I say we, I'm talking about our people here on the American continent. All right? So when these Moors moved into Spain, they went and fought their brothers. It was their brothers, people who looked just like them. They fought them. And they ruled Spain for about 711 years. I would say closer to 1,000 if you ask me. All right? Because the fighting started way before 711 years. So I would say they ruled Spain for about 1,000 years. Now, around that time, even before the Moors took power, Caucasians were already enslaved all over the world. When I say all over the world, their world, not our world. Not our world. Okay? Their world. Once again, the Americas was not on the world map. So Caucasians were their slaves. Okay? They created Caucasians to be their slaves, to till the land. Okay? Adam means robot, a tiller of the land. That's who they created. They created Adam, okay, about a little over 6,000 years ago to till the land because they thought that they were nobles, they were royals, and they didn't want to till the land, so they had to create slaves to do that for them. So they created the pale race to do that. You feel me? Now, once they did that, the pale man came from the womb of the dark-skinned woman. They didn't know how that was going to manifest. When it came out completely pale, in other words, leprosy, okay, they abandoned them. They banished them, okay, they drove them away from their land and they made them prisoners, all right? But when these Moors who left Rome traveled to Spain and fought, and they took over that empire in Spain, okay, they went and got the pale man woman. They went all over the world again. They had power now. They went all over Africa, kidnapping the women of these pale men. It's in the Bible. They call them booty, the prize. Okay, they were the lords of this, the lords of that. It's in the Bible. Once again, the Bible is not a book about heaven and hell. Okay, the Bible is stories of different nations and their journey on their side of the world and how they interact with this side of the world, which is the Americas. It has nothing to do with heaven and hell. Okay, all that stuff was created by man. Okay, even the New Testament, all that was man-made. So these Moors went and slept with these women. Okay, it's in the Bible. The sons of God slept with the daughters of men. They're talking about them, the daughters of men that they created. Okay, and they created a new race. Okay, and we're going to use that term mulatto very lightly. So they created these mulatto children. All right, which I've said that before, but I'm going a little deeper here today to show you the relationship between American Aboriginals and Moors. Now, it doesn't mean that Africans and people who consider themselves Moors, because not every African is a Moor. Okay, so how can Moors say that we are all Moors when even Africans don't call themselves Moors? Nigerians don't call themselves Moors. Ethiopians don't call themselves Moors. People from Senegal don't call themselves Moors. People from Ghana don't call themselves Moors. So why do you want to come here in America and call us Moors? You see, that's a hijack. Okay, we're not going to fall for that. You feel me? So we are putting that in perspective today. You feel me? So here come these mulatto children. Okay, here come these mulatto children. Somebody said the first true mulatto was between Aboriginal and Moors. Well, hey, family, Don, that's a little questionable. You know why I say that? Because a mulatto just means the mixing of any two race. So we don't have substantial proof or evidence to say that the first mixing of the races was actually American Aboriginals and Moors. Where's the proof of that? Where's the proof of that? Now, I could tell you, and that may not be a fact, but it's more of a possibility. On the Americas, the first definition of mulatto could have been an American Aboriginal. Okay, I mean, yes, I've seen the Portuguese and breeding chats, but it still doesn't prove anything. Because like I said, we have been on this planet for millions of years. So we can't, where's the conclusive facts that Moors and American Aboriginals were the first two races who ever mixed? Where's the proof of that? And the Portuguese charts that's new. That's something recent. Family, we have been here for millions of years. So you trying to tell me that there was no mixing, period, before the Moors and American Aboriginals? Where's the proof of that? You see, today we're going to deal with facts. Okay, we're going to deal with facts. Things that we have to use our basic, our common sense is not basic, but we are going to use our mother God-given mind. Okay, and let us not talk about theories. Okay, let's talk about facts. Okay, things that make sense. So unless anybody could show me that it's scientifically, archaeologically proven that we have been here for millions of years, so prove to me that Moors and American Aboriginals were the first two mixing of any race. Now, once you have proven that to me, then that would be the first example or definition of what you call a mulatto. All right, but I'm talking about in recent times. Okay, let's talk about recent times. Yes, Portuguese and the American Aborigines, because the Portuguese are actually Moors. So, and you see, that's where I'm coming into that right now. Okay, all this is gonna come into fruition, family. So, Don, Augustine, Kalinago, man, I appreciate the input because this is a beautiful bill. So I don't want you to think I'm coming at you. I love the fact that you're giving your input. I really appreciate that because you're a Kalinago just like me. Let's keep it. So we're gonna keep it all in love. All right. So I'm not coming at you, family. I'm glad that you are doing that because you see it helps in exposing, all the theories. Okay. So I'm glad you brought that up, but I have to put that back in perspective. All right. So let's proceed. When this mulatto children, realize that, hold up, everybody here is so-called black. And I said so-called black, okay? So-called black. But where's the rest of my family at? So they had to tell them the truth. They told them that their family came from slaves and their family is slaves and the rest of their family is actually, they're roped off. Hence the term Europe. Okay? They were roped into a certain demographic of a landmass where they were imprisoned. Okay? So they were slaves. Didn't know how to bathe, cook, clean, wash their skin. They were eating each other up. Cannibalism, that was their thing. So these children, they started, of course, they grew into royalty because their parents, which were Moors, the men from the father's side, because that was a patriarchal system. They have always had a patriarchal system on that side of the world. And on this side of the world, which is the Americas, we have always had a matriarchal system. You feel me? And I'm going to tell you why we had shown more favor in the eyes of Mother God than the other continents. You see, all of it is going to come into perspective. Okay? I'm going to bring all of that into fruition today so we could kill all the noise. So when you hear anybody on any platform tell you we're all Moors, shut them down, period, because it's a lie. Okay? Now, when these children realized what was going on, They said that, okay, well, on our father's side, on our mother's side, or whatever, we're slaves, but on our father's side, we're royalty. So we deserve to have a seat at the table. You have Queen Charlotte, you have other queens, Queen Isabella, King Ferdinand. All those people were mulattoes. Okay, so even before the rise of Queen Isabella and King Ferdinand, all right, you had other royalty, which was mulattoes. So what they did was they summoned their parents, these black Moors, okay, and they said, listen, man, we want to go get our parents and we want to civilize them. So they went and got their parents out of prison from the rope. They de-roped them, okay? Took them out of some of the caves. Not all of them was in caves, because when they say, oh, they all came from the Caucasus Mountain, that's not true. They were prisoners around, a lot of them were prisoners around the world. You feel me? Okay? So they got them and they brought them into civilization and civilized them. Taught them how to fight. Taught them how to, build, architecture and all these different things. But what they did was they grew so much in number that they started fighting their parents. They started fighting their parents. So the Moors put it in the law, okay, to honor your mother and fathers. It's in the book. Because the book was written for their children. It's a trust. Okay, it's a trust. A book of laws that their children had to abide by. Okay? The first Christians were not Caucasians. No. They were dark-skinned people, but not on the American continent. On the other side of the world. Okay? But they grew so much in number that they fought and they defeated their parents, which was the Moors. Okay? You're talking about Portuguese, Spain, Italy, all those places. Okay? When they overthrew them, what they did was, they, at that point, a lot of the Moors went back. Some of them went back to North Africa. Okay? Some of them went back to North Africa. And some of them came here into the Americas. Now, let's get something straight, right? It doesn't mean that Moors were not here before. It doesn't mean that Africans were not here before. It doesn't mean that. It doesn't mean that Asians were not here before. I'm talking about the original Asians. All right? Some of them have been here before. But I'm talking about in terms of talking about the kind of like pre-slavery or pre-colonial times, right around that time. Okay? So these Moors came here, and when they came, we opened our arms to them as brothers. Now, it wasn't an influx of Moors, no. A lot of them came for commercial purposes because they were fleeing the hands of their children in Spain after they lost their reign. And it wasn't just in 1492 because the war was going on. Do you think that they just fought in 1492 and they lost and all of a sudden they left Spain? No. And they came here in 1492? No. They had already realized they were losing the war in the early 1400s. So they was already coming here. And we had already opened up our arms to them. I appreciate that, Prime. Prime, thank you for supporting the super chat. How did you go about finding out here? I'll get into that a little later, fam. Let me just stay on focus, but I'll definitely get into that. All right? I'll get into that. So I'm not going to ignore your question. I just want to stay focused on this right now. Okay? So, where was I? Yeah, so we open up our doors to these Moors. All the so-called nobles who came here prior to the 1600s, they were all dark-skinned men. Okay? They were all dark-skinned men. They had already, they knew about civilization. They were great architects. They were great builders. All right? So they came here. Now, with the skill of our people that was already here, and these Moors that came over here, architecture started, buildings started going up. Mind you, at that time, There was no big set of Caucasians here. The natives wasn't even the people who call themselves natives right now, these pale-skinned $5 Indians, they were not even in the picture then. They were not even in the picture, period. Okay? It was just us, the American Aboriginals, and a few of these Moors. But these Moors, they always had it in their spirit. Again, all right, they are conquerors. They are conquerors. So what they started doing, we gave them a tract of land. So you see all the story they tell you about, oh, they gave some land and then the Caucasian man wanted to take more land. No, it wasn't Caucasians. It was Moors. Okay? It was Moors. And then the fighting became so intense, all right, where there was literally bloodshed. You see, that part of history, nobody's telling you that, okay? When they were coming here and taking our people and enslaving our people and taking them all over the world as slaves to build back their empire, the Roman Empire. This is all about building back Rome, family. So y'all better realize what's going on. It's about the resurgence of the Roman Empire. And if y'all don't be careful, trust me, it's going to happen. If y'all want to keep falling for the trick. Okay? So when these Moors came here, what they did was, a lot of these, a few of them went back to Spain. And they spoke to Ferdinand and Isabella. Okay? When they were enslaving the American Indians. Isabella said, listen, man, I don't like what we're doing to these Indians. Okay? These Indians are people, they're loving people. Yes, they may not know our God, but they're loving people. They may not know our God, but they are people in God. Okay? They are a gentle people. They are a meek people. So let's stop killing them. So they said, cool. So these mulattoes told these Moors that were over here, that were setting up shop, let us take a lot of these our parents who are in prison. So they reversed what happened to them. Okay? Let me explain to you what that means. When the Caucasians, okay, when they were put in prison and in caves, okay, when they were brought back into civilization, they built armies and they fought their fathers, which was the Moors. Once they took over, they made their fathers prisoners. They did exactly what they did to them. So what the fathers did to the children came back and did it to their fathers and enslaved them. Okay? So when these Moors that were here, they say, listen, we could do some business. All right? You don't want us to enslave these Indians? All right? This is what we're going to do. They made a deal to start bringing these Portuguese and the Spaniards, conquistadors. There were black Moors here into the Americas. Okay? As indentured servants. They made deals with them. Okay, they were imprisoned by their own children. And the deal was to bring them into this new world. Bring them onto this new world because that was the beginning of the whole takeover. Okay, to rebuild the Roman Empire. Okay, one family or a few set of families ruling the world. That was the inception of that. Well, of course, it happened before that, but I'm just saying that's when it really started taking place. So they brought a lot of these Moors, documented, not as slaves. That's why, brothers and sisters, you cannot find no slave ships because they didn't come here as slaves. They came here on their own free will for a better opportunity. Okay? So when Moors tell you that they are aboriginals, they are not aboriginals, but they are indigenous. The aboriginals are the people who have always been here. Okay? However, they are mixed with aboriginals, so they do have a claim to say that they are aboriginals as well. But do not fall for the trick that we are all Moors. No. They only became aboriginals because they mixed in with the aboriginal people that was already here. Okay? So when they came, a lot of them came as indentured servants. They made deals with them. Okay? They made deals with them. 7 years. It's in the Bible. Go read it. I'm telling you. That's what it's about. It's about their journey of a few nations that came into the Americas. Okay? It is their history book. Once again, the book is not about heaven and hell. That's what y'all were taught. Okay? So that was the deal. But their masters, okay, their masters, here's the thing as well. The Moors that came here and set up shop, they started bringing some of their mulatto children here into the Americas as well. Okay? Hence, you have the boule. Okay? You have the sororities. Okay? They are so wealthy that not even Oprah could be part of their society because Oprah is not wealthy enough. She's new generation money. Okay? The generation they're talking about is wealth that goes back all the way back into Spain, Britain, went into Rome. That's what they're talking about. Okay? Michael Jordan couldn't even get in that society because he's new generational wealth. Bill Cosby, even before all the controversy, couldn't even get into those type of societies because he was new generation wealth. But guess who got in? His wife. Because she's part of that family. Okay? So we're putting this into perspective. You feel me? So when they came here and they were enslaved, okay, so don't get tricked. It wasn't the people who came here as so-called slaves, it wasn't, the majority of them were not Africans, family. Yes, a few Africans came here as slaves, okay? But the majority of the dark-skinned people who came here, they did not come from Africa. They came from Britain. They came from Scotland. They came from, they were Turkish, the original Moors. They came from Portugal. Those were the dark-skinned men who came here as indentured servants. Okay, y'all really think it's African slaves. They are not African slaves. Okay? But when they served their 7 years in this new world, which is they called America, they were supposed to be free. Okay? Get married, have a wife, get some land, and be free. Open up businesses. But the people that brought them here, they reneged on that promise. They reneged on the promise. They kept them in captivity. Okay? They kept them in captivity. So they said what? This is what we're going to do. Seeing that we can enslave the Indians, all right? And these Moors are fighting, now they're fighting us, okay? What we got to do? Let us ease that tension and let us go get some of these Caucasian slaves and bring them here. So now they start enslaving Caucasians. But the Caucasians were dying out. All right? They were dying out. So what had to happen? The Moors and the mulattoes that was in power here, and once again, let's put that in perspective. We already had governments. We already had constitutions. This was all a commercial venture. Not every indigenous tribe took part in slavery. No, some of them did. Okay, they worked with these Moors and these mulattoes. Okay, as the slave trade as a business. Enslaving people was a business. Just like how you have today. Let's just say, America and Saudi Arabia getting into the oil business. It was a business back then, just like sugar cane, okay? Just like tobacco, just like corn. It was all business. So chattel slavery was a business. And some of our ancestors, yes, did partake in that form of slavery. But when the so-called pale people couldn't, thank you, Brother Isa, for supporting the super chat. When they couldn't stand the heat and they were dying from the sun, the Moors said what? Let us go to Africa, okay, and get some of our African brothers, because they were already used to fighting each other. So they went to Africa, all decked out, looking fly, and they went to the tribesmen, the chief of the tribes, and said, listen, we have this new continent, this new world. and we have great opportunities. Don't let nobody fool you. Africa was never a land that had the most resources in the world. No, the most resources in the world was right here in the Americas, and it still is today. Brothers and sisters, don't let them fool you. There's nothing new under the sun. They always want to undermine who we are. Okay? We have always been the land that has flourished the most on this earth. And I'll tell you why when we're about to conclude this lecture. Okay? Or this message, rather. Africa, that land, they were always struggling. Okay? They were always struggling. Don't get me wrong. You might have had some natural resources, yes, but that was already depleted. Okay? The Moors had already depleted that. Okay? And their children, the mulattoes, took that away from them. They took that away from them. Their land, their religion, their culture, they took all that away from them. You feel me? And they send them, a lot of them, into the Americas so that they will not fight them to get back power in Spain. Y'all want to know the truth? Can y'all handle the truth? That is the question. Okay? So they send them into the Americas. In other words, if they kept them in Spain, they was afraid of a revolt. So they send them in Spain. They worked out a deal. Let us send them in Spain. We're going to get them out of jail, and we're going to send them into the Americas because they didn't want them to come back and fight them for everything they stole from them. They literally had raped Africa. So Africa was struggling for a very long time, but the American continent was virgin land, okay? The land of milk and honey, the land of where the streets was paved in gold. Don't let them fool you, all right? Don't let them fool you. So when they went into Africa and they started talking to these chiefs, some of them was a little bit reluctant, but because they looked like them, okay, and they gave them tokens, you know, they gave them silver, they gave them gold, they started talking to their village people and say, hey, listen, things are bad, you're struggling, we want to give you guys an opportunity. You could go away for 7 years, make a life for yourself, and come back. So a lot of these Africans came here on their own free will, okay? That's why you can't find no slave ships of people that was packed up on each other like sardines. That didn't happen. That's a lie. That is a bold-faced lie. It never existed. Okay? It never existed. So when they came, a lot of them came on their own free will. Some of them were a little bit reluctant, okay? And they were kidnapped and brought here. That is a fact. See, I'm not going to deny the truth, but it wasn't millions of people. Thank you, my sister Aaliyah, for supporting the super chat. Greatly appreciated. Okay? So it wasn't millions of people. Okay? Yes, thousands and thousands and thousands, but it wasn't millions. Okay? It wasn't millions. So now you have you have this so-called New World where there were an indigenous population already, the American Aboriginals, assisting or went into business or commerce with their Moorish brothers. Okay? With their Moorish brothers. So yes, Moors are indigenous. Yes, Moors are natives. But they are not American Aboriginals by birthright. Okay? However, let's put this into perspective. They can and they have the right to call themselves American Aboriginals because their men went into our women. Because we had a matriarchal society and inheritance was passed down through the mother. So yes, a lot of these Moors, okay, they have every right to call themselves Aboriginals as well. Because a lot of them came from the womb of the American Aboriginal woman. Okay? But here's the key. Do not get tricked and call yourself a Moor. Because anytime you call yourself a Moor in America, you are still a foreigner. You are still an immigrant. Okay? You are still an immigrant. Regardless of whether you have Aboriginal blood in you, you are still an immigrant. Okay? So don't let nobody fool you with that. Okay? So the whole pushing of we are all Moors is an attempt, okay? It's an attempt to re-establish the Roman Empire. Okay, that's what it is. It's another takeover, a hostile takeover, but it's not so hostile. Okay, it's being done in a subtle way because they have always had the knowledge. They always knew the truth. All right, they always knew the truth. Why do you think Moors, they know the court system in and out? Why do you think so? Why do you think a lot of them know more of the history than a lot of regular so-called black African Americans or so-called black people? You feel me? So it's a lot of confusion, and they know the truth, and they're still confusing the people with the lies. But I'm here to put it in perspective. Let any one of them debunk what I'm saying. And don't just debunk it because of your emotions, because this is facts over feelings. Tell the truth. So with that being said, okay, the deal was for us to work from inception, from a government to government relationship with these 13 colonies, because the American Indians, we have always been here. And once again, American Indian is also a misnomer. I gotta keep things in perspective, okay? Even American Aboriginal is also a misnomer. Because like I said, a dog doesn't call himself or herself a dog. A horse doesn't call itself a horse. It just exists. So we were just existing on this land. We all had our families. Then families band together and families became clans. Okay? Clans came together, created bands, and bands came together and created nations. And nations came together to create the empire. Okay? But the infiltration of the Moors was subtle, because when they came looking for a handout, because they had just lost their reign in Spain and they were coming for new adventures, but they came with motives. Okay? They came with motives for the hostile takeover, and they started fighting our people. And because they couldn't beat us, all right, they couldn't beat us, what they did, they went and got their children, their mulatto children, their armies, and did what? They bound together and they started fighting us, and they still couldn't beat us. Okay? So when they started bringing a lot of their children here, and they started bringing a lot of these Caucasians here, guess what? Revolutions started to take place all over the Americas, because people didn't want to be enslaved. You know why? Because they saw American Indians walking around here freely. Hold up. Even Africans were saying, and even certain Muslims were saying, hold up, these people look like us. How is that they get to be free? They were put in a category called the freedmen. The freedmen were all American Indians. All right? So they started to escape the plantations, and once again, it was farms. Okay? It was farms. F-A-R-M-S. It was farms, and they changed they do the wordplay. They changed the word farm into plantation. All right? So a lot of these Africans and these Moors, you feel me? They were working on the farms or the plantations, and they would escape, and they would go hide with the American Indians. And even Native Americans would tell you the story. But here's the truth. This is where we put a hole, among other proof, that we put a hole in the Native American stories. Because if you say that you are the original people to all you $5 Indians, okay? If you say that you are the original people, then you look like the pale man. You look Caucasian. So how is that? A so-called black African, a so-called black Moor could come and escape the plantation and come hide amongst your tribes, and the slave masters couldn't tell the difference. I'll wait. I'll wait. You know what? On that note, I'm going to have me a strawberry, because I don't think they're able to answer that question for me. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. to be a slave, one doesn't have to agree. If somebody come and just kidnap you from your home and force you into slavery, how is that? How is you agreeing to that? Okay, it's called involuntary servitude, slavery. Okay, it's involuntary slavery. You feel me? So with that being said, this is what we are doing here today. We are putting this story to rest. Okay, let's put this. Anytime anybody tell you we all Moors, send them this video. All right. So at some point, the fighting was so immense. Okay, exactly. And that is the question, my brother Issa. That is the question I have for all these natives. All right. They verify and they say for a fact in their own records that slaves came and hide among them. So if you look pale, you an Albion, right? How is that dark-skinned slaves or so-called black slaves could hide in your midst and the slave master couldn't tell? No, it is because the original Indians were dark-skinned. So when these slaves escaped and they came into where the Indians were, they couldn't tell the difference. Okay, I'm gonna give you another example of the allegory. When Joseph, all right, when Joseph was found in the basket, and Pharaoh's midwife, when they found him, and they brought him into the temple, all right, how is that they didn't know he was different? Joseph, right? Joseph, I think it was Joseph, right? Joseph grew up in Egypt as one of the Egyptians. Why do you think so? Because what? He looked like them. You feel me? He looked like them. Joseph was from the other side of the continent. Joseph was an African. And he grew up among the Americans, which is the Egyptians. Where do you think Joshua learned? At the age of 12, Joshua left home and went where to learn who? By whom? By the Egyptians. Brothers and sisters, they learned everything on this continent. Don't let them fool you. So what they had to do, they had to deface all the proof. They had to break down our temples, burn our libraries. Oh yeah, Moses, thank you. Moses was in the basket. But I'm talking about Joseph as well, who was found by, when his brothers, sold him into slavery. But yes, Moses, thank you, down to earth. I appreciate that. Okay? Don't let these people fool y'all. Yeah, thank you, Moses. Yeah, I appreciate the help on that. Okay? But the point I'm trying to make is he grew up as one of them and they didn't know the difference. It's the same thing. It's the same thing with the African slave and the Moors that were here that were enslaved. Okay? And that's another proof again that these so-called natives, these $5 Indians, couldn't have been the original Indians. Because there's no way an African could hide among you and you look like the pale man and the slave master couldn't tell. No, they look like the original people. Okay, they look like the original people. So to put this again in perspective, the relationship between American Aboriginals and the Moors is exactly that. Okay? They were enslaved in Spain, Portugal, all what you considered Spain around that time, Europe, and they were sent here as indentured servants. Okay? Or to do business for Ferdinand and Isabella. They were the ambassadors. Okay? So when the 13 colonies were set up, it was set up by the nobles. Okay? The nobles of Europe. They were made knights. Okay? They were made knights and they were given nobility by their children, which was the mulattoes. You feel me? But all I'm just saying, brothers and sisters, y'all got to know the truth. Okay? Y'all got to know the truth. So for anybody who tell you again, we are all Moors, well, you ask them, what was the earth called before it was divided? If that's true. When it was one landmass, what was it called? Oh, it was called Pangaea, huh? Well, we're all Pangaeans. And what was it called before that? Something else. What was it called before that? Something else. What was it called before that? Earth. Then we're all earthlings. So how is that we're all Moors? Okay, it was a family, a bloodline that we'll call Moors. And they were going around the world, okay? In fact, their world at that time, hijacking other nations. And they ended up in the America because they lost their reign, and they did the same thing here in the Americas. Okay? So yes, they are indigenous. Yes, they are natives. Yes, they could call themselves aboriginals, but they're not the original aboriginals. They're only aboriginals because they mixed in with the aboriginal woman of America. Okay? Just like these natives. These $5 Indians, and y'all heard it from the bill I had with the dude from the Cherokee Nation. What he said: my grandmother was a dark-skinned woman, and if she permed her hair, she would look like one of our black natives here in Oklahoma. That is because she was so-called black. And the only way y'all was able to be Indians is for y'all fathers to sleep with an Indian woman. So my sisters, y'all better realize how who you are. Stop allowing all these different ethnic groups to go inside of you, man. You see what I'm saying? Because you are reducing your bloodline. He said, did every tribe mix with them? Man, Brother Isa, that's a tough question. You know, it's possible. Okay, it's possible. You see, just like how Renell said, Renell said, my great-grandfather was a Moor and my grandmother was Choctaw. Her father was a Moor. This is true. She told me slavery didn't happen. You see, there you go. So to answer your question, Brother Isa, the mixing, it happened. So a lot of people that are around here, yes, even me, I may have some more blood in me. Okay? So, but I'm not, you see, the thing is, I'm not denouncing any of my ancestors. I don't do that. But don't tell me that's what I am. Okay, I'm a mixture of a lot of things, just like a lot of us. But we were Americans first, before we became mixed with anything else. So I am an American Aboriginal mixed with Moor, possibly, mixed with European, possibly. You know, who knows? Because people were just mixing with each other, family, even Asiatics. Some of us have that in us. I mean, to really go around and find a pure, Aboriginal is a little tough. You may find some that are closer to full-blooded than others, because a lot of the mixing didn't happen in a lot of places, especially in a lot of places in the Caribbean. All right, typical example, in Dominica, where I was born, there wasn't a lot of mixing. Slavery, literally, there was one slave ship that came to Dominica, and that was in the 1800s. And it was one of the last places to be colonized. So I know I'm closer to being a full-blood American Aboriginal than whoever. You see what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, it depends on what area you were in and how much of an infiltration took place, okay, at that time. So to answer that question, that only the leaders' daughters, not the whole tribe. Yeah, that's true. I agree with that. I'm Charles Clark. All right. A lot of the mixing were done with the women because remember, we had a matriarchal society. So, what you call, everything was passed down through the woman. So they came and slept with the women, opposed to our men sleeping with their women. All right. But we have to look at it this way. A lot of our men had actually died out. So there is still a lot of us that are actually closer to being full-blooded or pure American Aboriginal, more so than not. You feel me? But they were definitely sleeping more with the women opposed to the women sleeping with their men. I mean, opposed to our men sleeping with their women. Okay? So we just putting all this in perspective. And once again, this is not to bash anybody or to hate anybody. No, this is me telling you we are so mixed in that we all need to work together. But let us work together as who we are, not by you forcing us to be what you want us to be. Okay? I'm not gonna take that away from you, that you could call yourself an American Aboriginal. I'm not gonna take that away from you because your father slept with our mothers. I get it. I'm not disputing that. But remember, you are only an American Aboriginal because you slept with our mothers, not because we came from the other side, or not because every so-called black person is a Moor. No. Nigerians don't call themselves Moors. Ghanaians don't call themselves Moors. So why do you want to categorize everybody in the Americas as Moors? That is a hostile takeover, okay, to revive the Roman Empire. And we are not going to allow that. We are not going to allow it. Well, I'm not under any spell, family. All right, so I'm not going to manifest that. I'm not under any spell. I'm a free man. Now, a lot of my rights may be imposed upon, but I'm free in my mind. So all that, we under spells and nah, I'm not under anybody's spell. I know who I am. Okay, I'm a deity. I'm a god. You feel me? So at the end of the day, I'm not under nobody's spell. Now, it doesn't mean, like I said, you got a big gun, you got a big tank. It doesn't mean you can't violate my rights. I'm not saying that, but it wouldn't be voluntary. Okay? The Asiatics were the people, the original inhabitants of Asia. Because remember, at that time, even before they discovered our world, before they even put us on the world map, okay, they had only known of Asia, Europe, and Libya. At that time, Africa didn't even exist. You feel me? You did. So at the end of the day, be mindful of how you identify who you are. Okay? Yeah, I see, because all this, this spell stuff, and man, listen, man, we here building, and the end of the day, we all spell. We all speak English, okay? Unless we go back to our original languages, we are still all spelling. Well, I am American. I'm American ancestors. I agree. A lot of people here are voluntarily calling themselves Moors. So yes, they are brainwashed. I get it. All right. And that's why I'm here dropping the information so that they could learn something, or at least do more research. You feel me? Because we have to get away from that brainwashing. Because again, once again, it's like let us reverse the situation. It's like American Aboriginals going into Africa. No matter what you do, they're not going to call you an African. Okay? They're not going to call you an African. I don't care how much you intermarry. They're not going to call you an African. At the end of the day, they're all going to say that, yes, you marry an African woman, but you are still American. You are still American. And that's why when the colony of Liberia was set up, the Americo-Liberians, they stuck to their own, because they knew that regardless of how much they intermarried, they wasn't going to be considered Liberians. You feel me? So let me ask you a question. So how is that we American Aboriginals, Moors came here, and slept with our women, all of a sudden we all Moors? No. That's a hijack of our birthright. No. You are actually an American Aboriginal who got some more in you. You did. So know how to put these things in perspective. Now, somebody asked, I want to go back to that question. I really didn't want to get into genealogy right now because this Sunday, you know, on the Matriarch build, we're going to get into genealogy and how to set your genealogy and all that. But I didn't want to ignore, you know, the individual who asked the question about how do you find out your nationality and all that. Man, you talk to your family. All right, you talk to your family. Do as much independent research as you can. All right. But on Sunday, on this Sunday's Matriarch build, we are going to get into genealogy. We're going to get into census. We're going to get into the Dawes Rows. We're going to get into all that with, we're going to have a few beautiful sisters on. Sister Felicia is going to be on. Hopefully, we're going to have Golden Crown Sparrow is going to be on. So, and any other sisters, you know, who are willing to be part of the Matriarch build on Sunday, please let me know so you could come in as a guest. All right, because we are going to, on this Sunday, we are going to talk about that. All right. Now, I did, we're going to talk about that right here, right? So for me, and like I tell people, I could only speak for myself, right? I know, again, in Dominica, where I was born, that my family has always been there. Okay? My family has always been there. My mother is an American Aboriginal. Okay, my father is an American Aboriginal. So I can only speak for myself. You feel me? So I came from the womb of an American Aboriginal woman. Okay? And just like I am American said, you know what I mean? Yeah, you are who your mamas are. So if you came from for all you Moors, if you came from the womb of an American Aboriginal woman here on the American continent, why are you calling yourself a Moor? You should know that you're an American Aboriginal. So be mindful. Yeah. Oh, no doubt, Sister Leah. You know you're on. You know you're part of that panel. You know you can't get rid of us, and we ain't getting rid of you. So you already know. You already know you on. Okay. So I just wanted to come shed some light on all this. Okay, and why it's imperative for us to work together as one. But don't try to trick us into giving up our birthright. We're not going to do that. Okay, we're not going to do it, and that's why we have to look out for the Trojan horse. We have to look out for the Trojan horse because you don't know who is who. So be mindful, family. Be mindful. Okay, stop doing all these paperwork, calling yourself a Moor. Now, if you're a Moor, that's cool. That's fine. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. If you're a Moor, that's totally fine. Okay? But when you start doing this paperwork as an American Aboriginal, calling yourself a Moor, you make yourself an immigrant in your own land. All right? That's a fact. And a lot of Moors are putting in a lot of documents in these systems to jam up the process of people who are sincere about reclaiming their identity. And that's why a lot of these institutions are pushing back, because a lot of these Moors messed it up in Chicago, in New York, in Jersey, in Maryland, in Philly, all over the place. They're putting in all these documents, okay, that's bogus. And it's a pushback. Now, whether it's done intentionally or not, I don't know. But you see, it's causing problems for us, because I believe that they're putting a glitch in the system so that the true American Aboriginals will have problems, adjusting our status. Now, I'm not accusing anybody of that, okay? Like I said, it appears to be that way. Prime, thank you again for supporting the super chat. What would be the blood type for the original people of the America? Thank you for all the knowledge. Much love. Honestly, I think it's O. And some Aboriginals actually have U negative as well. I think the only people on the planet that have U negative is American Aboriginals. But again, that's neither here or there. I'm not an expert on blood work. Okay. I don't focus too much more on the blood. I deal with more as to, you know, my lineage, my DNA, who I came from, opposed to blood, you know. But hey, like I said, I'm not an expert on everything. So I'm not a big expert on the blood. All right. But I just wanted to put this again in perspective. All right. All right. No doubt, no doubt, no doubt, no doubt. Aboriginals, list Memphis, Memphis in the building. That's what it is. That's what it is. Okay. So, brothers and sisters, I just wanted to come and drop that information here for y'all. And like I said, in conclusion, I'm gonna tell you why, you know, or we were honored, okay? Or if we were to say sacrifice, I'm not gonna say sacrifice, okay? But I'm gonna tell you why our gift to the Most High was more honorable than our brothers across the seas, is because we didn't abandon, you know, the mother, the great mother. We didn't abandon her, okay? On the other side, they became a patriarchal society, and they took the mother out of the Trinity. Okay, you feel me? That's what they did. So you see, when they gave you the Father, Son, and Holy Ghost, they made the mother a ghost. So they abandoned Mother God. And since that happened, the world has been flipped upside down. So literally, down is up and up is down. We are actually walking on heaven. Heaven is the underworld. Okay? Heaven is the underworld. You did. So instead, they told you that God is a man. God is not a man. God is a woman. Okay? So don't let nobody fool you with that. But so that's what they did. But here on the American continent, we stay true. We stay true to honor the mother. That's why we always had a matriarchal society, because we knew the importance of the mother. Okay? And even in certain places in India, wherever you have, all right, they had their concept of God was a black statue of a woman. Even the Pope, they know that God is a woman. So all these messiahs that came, they grew up in a patriarchal society where all they were taught was that God was a man. So that's what they taught. And they brought that system here into the Americas and taught us that. So all of us running around here talking about our father, our father, our father. No, it's our mother. And in that mother, she created male and female. She made male man and female man, and which I'm going to break down in detail in another video. So I'm not going to get into that right now. You feel me? Okay? Like I said, son of Yah. That is a patriarchal, okay, egotistical perspective. God is not a man. And I'll break down what man really means. Apparently, you're not well studied enough. Okay? I'm going to break down in a video what man really means. You did. A woman is nothing but a man that came from the womb. Oh, no doubt, Brother Isa. So I'm going to break down that whole concept of who's man, who's woman, who's God, and how all this came into manifestation. All right? I'm going to break that down in another video. So we're not going to get into that today. But I just wanted to show you and explain to you the relationship between the American Aboriginals and the Moors. All right? So in conclusion, the American Aboriginals, we have always been here on this side of the world. Okay? Always been here. And different ethnic groups came and mixed in with our women. All right? And mixed in with our women. So therefore, we are American Aboriginals with different DNA in us. All right? So whenever you call yourself anything other than an American Aboriginal, or what we were coined, which is still a misnomer, American Indian, then you are an immigrant, okay, on this land. You are a visitor. Now, it could be your home, you could be native, but you're not an American Aboriginal, all right? So just wanted to make that clear, okay? Just wanted to make that clear. Know what you call yourself when you call yourself what you call yourself, all right? And know the ramifications of that. Because like I said, I tell people, we have been the biggest secret on this entire earth. We are the biggest secret. You know, we were an untouched people, okay? A virgin people, all right? And they came and they raped everything that we had. They raped our land, they raped our women, they raped our children, they raped our mothers, our daughters. That's right. The truth. I mean, hey, listen, it's only the truth that's going to turn all this around. And the more the Europeans tell the truth, the more the Moors tell the truth, the more anybody tell the truth, the balance will return. You see? But a lot of them will not tell the truth because they have been lying for so long. The lie is becoming their truth. And you see, they're mixing lies with truth to confuse people. Okay? That's what they're doing. Oh, absolutely. I mean, you know, prior to the influx of, you know, the visitors on our land, we had thousands and thousands and thousands of years without mixing. Of course, absolutely, I agree. And anytime you have anything of the original in you, then that's what you are. It's the one drop rule. You feel me? So like I said, Moors are Aboriginals because that's the one drop rule. They came from the womb of an American Aboriginal woman, at least those that were here. I'm not talking about the ones that came. I'm talking about the new generations that came and mixed in. All right? They are Aboriginals. However, when they just leave it as I'm a Moor, then you take yourself aside of your birthright of calling yourself an American Aboriginal. Now, it doesn't mean that you don't have more in you or you are not a Moor. I'm not saying that. All I'm just saying is once you leave it as that politically, okay, status-wise, there's no such thing as Moorish American. Okay? That's just all I'm just saying. There's no treaties, okay, on the Moorish Americans. Now, they may have been treaties with Morocco, but Moroccans don't call themselves Moors. So you gotta stop playing the games. You feel me? Gotta stop playing the games. Yes, you know, and once again, American Indian is a misnomer because before the inception of the colonizers, we didn't call ourselves Indians. However, that's a term that we accepted, and we made treaties under the coinage of being called American Indians, and we are the only ones that's written in the Constitution. So therefore, I identify as an American Indian politically. Okay, politically, that's my status. I'm American Indian. All right, American Aboriginal, also known as American Indian. But if I were to be specific, okay, I am Carib and Anianwea, which is the original name for Cherokee, but of course, they had to create another organization called Cherokee, which means the fire people. But Anianwea means the principal people. So I guess they had to create Cherokee the fire people to burn out the principal people. I get it. I know the symbolism in all of this. They burned us out. They made us extinct. Not because they killed us, no. They made us extinct on paper. Okay? So if we are to take away all the labels, let us take all the labels away for a second. Then what are we? Who are we? That's when you truly know who you are. And that's when I tell people, if I strip myself from all the labels, then who are you, Chief? I'm not Chief Kalinago. I'm not Kenrick, the name that my mother gave me. No. I'm a son of Mother God. Okay? I'm a deity. There has never been a time when the I am in me hasn't existed. The I am in me is immortal. I am not the flesh. You see, too many of us confuse the flesh with the I am. No, the ego is not you. The ego is a persona of you. It's a representation of you. And the flesh is consuming a lot of people. The ego is consuming a lot of people because they don't know who they are. I don't let nobody put me in a box. Don't put me in your box. Because the moment you try to put me in your box, I'm going to let you know straight up, hey, I'm a God. And you have no authority over me. Now, if you choose to violate my rights, like I said, if you choose to violate my rights because you got your guns, then so be it. But you cannot take away who I am. And then people may say, oh, well, oh man, Chief is egotistical. Oh, no, how am I egotistical if I know who I am? If you don't know who you are, then that's your problem. Okay, if a God made me, then why am I not a God? I would like you to go tell a lion that your mother is a lion, but you're not a lion. You're a snake. I mean, if a lion could only understand and comprehend, I wonder how that lion would look at you. The lion would look at you like you're crazy. Go tell a giraffe that its babies are not giraffes, they are bears. How ludicrous does that sound? So if a God made me, okay, if a God made me, then how am I not a God? Man, I'm just stepping into my Godship. You feel me? I'm a son of the God Mother. That's it. I'm a son of Mother God. And nobody could take that away. So know thyself. Know thyself, family. Know thyself. Now, the question remains, are you a fallen God or are you an enlightened God? That is the question. That is the question. Because even the devil is a God. The devil is just a fallen God. So the truth is there. You just got to see past the lies. Okay? You got to see past the lies and you got to see past your emotions. Because emotions is what's getting a lot of people trapped because of what they were taught. They got so attached to ideologies that they can't see past what is. You feel me? You did. So you have to step into that higher realm of thinking. Those dimensions are actually in your mind. It is not out there, it's in your mind. And like I said, I'm going to break all that down in another video. We'll do that. We'll get into it. Just got to meditate on it a little bit more to get some more clarification because, once I bring that knowledge, I'm coming to bring that knowledge that people may not be able to, debunk that. You feel me? Greetings, Brother Christopher. All right. So once again, man, I want to thank each and every one of you for tuning in that live. I know it was a bit early, but I just wanted to come on and, drop a little something. Thank you for those of you who support the super chat. It always means a lot. I appreciate that. Once you're always giving, It feels great that, you know, the energy and the love is being reciprocated. And it doesn't necessarily mean that fiat currency is always, you know, the means of giving back. A lot of you are sending positive energy. That's a way of giving back as well. As a matter of fact, I would rather more positive energy and love and asking for my protection, you know, than fiat currency, honestly. You know, but the fiat currency, you know, it helps in taking care of things as well. You feel me? So with that being said, I want to thank each and every one of you for tuning in. By no means this message was meant to be, it didn't come from a place of bad intent. All right. I am just one for telling the truth from my own understanding, okay, based on my research, based on my meditation, based on my insight, okay, and based on just using my own mind, okay. Sometimes we don't have to read books, a lot of books, to know the truth. I mean, just look around you, see what's happening, okay. Look around you, look within. The truth is there, man. You see, Mother God put the truth in each and every one of us. And if we just took the time to listen and hear what she's saying, she will speak to you. All right? But we spend so much time focusing on everything outside of self. We spend so much time giving the praise and honor to every other deity opposed to Mother God. Do you know how abandoned she feels when you are giving all praise to the Father and not her? When the truth of the matter is she created the Father. How can there be a father without a mother? Like, do people even think of what they say or what they do? Huh? A man didn't come from himself. Every man has a mother. So how can God the Father not have a mother? I mean, it's just basic understanding. When your 2-year-old and your 3-year-olds ask you these questions that just make sense, how are you able to articulate that and explain that? Well, mommy and daddy, does God have a mother? What are you going to say? No. Because if you think God is a man, then where's his mother at? Family, wake up. Open up your eyes. You feel me? God is a woman. And man and male man and female man exist in her womb. They all came from the womb. Well, here's the thing, Daywalker. You know, and that's a great question, but how can anything exist without each other? Here's the answer. Each other already exists in the Great Mother. You see what I'm saying? And that's what I'm gonna break down. And that's a great question. That's what I'm gonna break down when I do the video. I'm gonna talk about man, I'm gonna talk about woman, I'm gonna talk about creation, I'm gonna talk about all that stuff. I'm gonna go in detail because each other exists in the one. You feel me? All right. So I'm about to log off of this, you know, eat some more strawberries. Man, I really appreciate you guys. You know, we still have a lot of work to do. Okay. We are still moving forward with the powwow that we are doing in Alabama. So I'm gonna drop some more information. I have some more conclusive updates on the powwow. So I will share that with you guys in another build. It may not be today. I'm not sure if I'll do another build today, but definitely I'll be doing a build. I know for sure we have our Matriarch Sundays. So if I don't do anything today, later today, maybe not tomorrow, maybe Saturday, I don't know. But definitely Sunday I'll be on. So I'm gonna give more of an update. And for anybody who needs to contact the chief out in Alabama in terms of the powwow, I will make sure I post the flyer, make sure I give you guys this information, because we definitely want to do the powwow out there in Alabama. Also, August 24th, we are going to be doing a green corn festival in New Jersey. So for those of you who are actually in the New Jersey area, Maryland, Philly, New York, and you would like to come to the Green Corn Festival, you know, the email is in the link below. Hit me up. I will send that information to you. All right. So we are doing a lot of work, man. You know what I'm saying? We are doing a lot of work. All right. So I appreciate, love you guys, and I'm sending a lot of positive energy your way. Okay. Continue to take care of yourselves. Continue to take care of each other, because at the ending of the day doesn't have an end. All right. But in the midst of all this, all we have is us. All we have is love. And we have to learn to appreciate each other in truth. Okay. Not that fake pretense, like, you know, you pretend to deal with people and like people and appreciate people, but behind closed doors, man, you're a beast. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about you deal with people the same way you deal with them in public as you would deal with them in private. That's when you know people genuinely care, they care about you. Okay? When the feelings and the emotions are all the same, whether it's in public or in private. Okay? And here's another aspect: when they are alone. You see, because sometimes people could appreciate you in public because they want people to see, oh man, you know what? Oh, I love everybody. And then in public, they don't care. In private, they don't care. But also, they could love you in public and they could love you in private, meaning that one-on-one. But when they by themselves, they send out all these negative energies. That is still pretense. I don't want to deal with people like that. I want to deal with people who could appreciate you in public, in private, and when they are alone. They still wish you the best. They still send you love. That's, to me, is genuine. He says, are you forming a nation by any chance? We already have a nation. Okay, it's called the United Anion Nation. Okay, also prior to that, we had a band which was called the Autochthon American People Nation. That still exists, but however, we have resurrected the Anion, the United Anion Nation. All right. So to answer your question, yes, we are part of a nation. You know, we have a council. You know, we're still, the foundation has already been set, but we're still building on the foundation, still putting some pieces together. We have our bylaws, the Constitution. We have that. It's almost done, but it's pretty much done. And a few other things that's being put in place. But yes, we have resurrected the United Anion Nation. All right. We will be posting right now. The website is open. It's private to, you know, just the nation members. Once we have put everything in place, then we'll make it we'll put it out there to the public. All right, because like I said, we want to make sure our foundation is set. All right, we just don't want to be walking around, oh well, we have a nation now. It ain't like that. You feel me? So, but Daywalker, definitely soon we will make that information public. Okay, right now it's just the nation members that have access to that. All right. However, we have information on the Autochthon American People Nation. If you want to check that out, I could put the link in the description. Let me just put that for you, so at least you will have some stuff to research. We have some information on here, so at least I could do that much. All right, let me get that for you. I'll put that in the link below. We have a lot of links. We have a university section. Okay, so let me see if I could put that in the link below. All right, I'm gonna put that in the link for you guys. Here you go. All right, Daywalker, I just put the link in there for you. We have a university section. We have a section on law, and it's a lot of information in there, family. Like, I'm talking about links and books and, you know, PDFs on resolutions. Constitution, you know what I mean? So it's a lot of information on this. So please, you could check that out. I just didn't want to, just not give you something where you're able to further some of your research. So it's a lot of great tools on there. All right. And this is all about sharing and caring, man. And like I said, we have a long way to go. 2020 is going to be a pivotal year in our existence, and a lot of changes are going to be taking place. So we have to start preparing ourselves to be in a position, all right, where we are actually on solid ground. So I implore you guys to tune in this Sunday, because on the Matriarch build, we're gonna discuss in detail the census, okay, the doors rows, doing genealogy searches and all that. Okay, we are still even gonna touch on a little bit on DNA as well. So definitely Sunday on the Matriarch build, y'all want to be tuned in. Y'all don't want to miss that. I would say about 7 or 8 p.m. Eastern. All right, we're gonna be doing that. Okay. So with that being said, on Sunday I will talk about Trump as well. Trump is doing what he's supposed to do. For now, I will say that Trump is doing what he's supposed to do. He's doing what he was put in place to do. Now it's up to us to do what we are supposed to do and what we are in place to do. Okay. But Trump is a trump card. I've said that years ago. All right, when he first got into office, Trump is a trump card, and let us use that trump card to get where we got to get and do what we got to do. So with that being said, have a great continuation. Continue to love each other. Continue to be your brother's keeper and be your sister's keeper. We have all that we have. And once more, I would like to give thanks to Mother God, my spirit, and my spiritual parents. All right, you guys take care of yourselves, and we will talk soon. One love.